Hello, my name is Kirsten Marcelin and I will be describing my walking path. So, for some background, I love going for walks at the Saddle River County Park, specifically going around the lake. However, I never know how long the path that I walk actually is, and therefore I decided to measure the length of the path so that I know how much I'm actually walking. So here is a picture of the entirety of the path, which, as you can see, goes around the lake. In order to measure the path, I first needed to measure the curves of the path using the arc length formula. So here is a picture of the first curve, and it is about 255 feet wide. And so I denoted the points 0, 0, and 255, 0, and then decided to use 3 other points in between for the quadratic regression. So here is a picture of the quadratic regression, which utilizes the different points that I denoted on the previous slide. Using this, I was able to find the formula of the curve, which is pictured, and I was able to use that in order to find the derivative. Once I had the derivative, I was able to calculate the arc length using the arc length formula. So it goes from 0 to 255 feet of the square root of 1 plus the derivative squared. And when I calculated that, I got that the total arc length is about 266.73 feet. Then I did the same thing for the second curve, which is a bit wider. So the total width of the curve is about 279 feet. And so I denoted the points 0, 0, and 279, 0. And then I decided to use 4 points in between the two for the quadratic regression. So here is the quadratic regression for the points on the previous slide, and utilizing this, I was able to find the formula of the curve. And then once I had that, I was able to find the derivative. And then once I had the derivative, I was able to use the arc length formula in order to find the arc length. So that goes from 0 to 279 feet of the square root of 1 plus the derivative squared. And when I calculated that, I got that the total arc length is about 623.86 feet. So then I had to find the other lengths of the different parts of the path, and I did this utilizing the Google Maps measuring tool, which I also used to find the different points for the curves. And so for the triangle at the top, I found that the two lengths are 229 feet as well as 291 feet. Then I calculated the length of a smaller section of the path between two of the curves, and that ended up being 253 feet, as well as the length of most of one side, which ended up being 1,070 feet. Then I calculated the length of the other side, which was between the two curves as well, and that ended up being 1,262 feet long. Once I had these lengths, I was able to calculate the total length of the path, and I did this by adding up all of the lengths that I found. So first I added up 266.73 feet and 623.86 feet for the two curves, as well as 229 feet, 291 feet, 253 feet, 1,070 feet, and 1,262 feet, and I got that the total length is about 3,995.59 feet. However, I decided that I wanted to convert this into miles, which I did by dividing by 5,280. And therefore, I was able to find that the total length of the path that I walk around the Saddle River County Park is about 0.757 miles long in total. Thank you.